Ben. So Ben, the adjustment, obviously you sort of slow the first couple weeks in terms of playing time. How have you adjusted, and all of a sudden, I guess you got to be ready to thrown in the fire now, right?
Well, I think it comes from just preparation every week, knowing that it could always happen and staying ready no matter what.
Hardest part of the adjustment to college?
I would say definitely just time management, just having to be places at a certain time and knowing where you got to be.
You were playing a lot anyway when Trey was out there before he got hurt, right?
Yes, sir.
What was the plan there? Where were you playing? Were you playing the weak side, or were they flopping you guys around a little bit, or what was going on?
I was in rotation with Trey at Mike, so strong side of the field.
So you were playing Mike?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We were switching off just about every drive in that game before.
So now you'll be switching off with Koba and Mike and Week. Was that how you work it, or?
I'll be playing Mike and Lee will be playing Will.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
On the field, what's the hardest adjustment? Again, is it the speed of the game? Everybody talks about that. Physicality of the linemen you see now compared to high school. What do you have to get used to?
It's definitely a lot different. I would say definitely physicality of the line, just knowing where to use your hands and how to get off blocks. In high school, usually you can just run into people and they'll get off you somehow. But knowing your techniques and always having to use them and be really crisp on that stuff is definitely the biggest adjustment for me playing at the college level.
Describe your first college snap. Did it come at you pretty fast?
Yeah, well, actually, I got here last January. So I've been here just, I think, 9 months today, actually, January 9th, yeah, 9 months today. And I had plenty of time for the game to start slowing down for me, so I feel like I was pretty prepared going out my first snap.
Even Penn State, when you got out on the field for the first time?
It was definitely a cool experience. I got out on a kickoff on Penn State, and it was definitely really cool going out in front of 110 first time on the field.
Still get nervous when a game starts and you go out, and now that you're going to probably start, what are the nerves going to be like?
For me, I don't think there's really time for nerves because you have so much to think about pre-snap and getting a line, knowing your assignment. You don't have time to think about how you're really feeling. You just go out there and do the job.
When you were out there for Penn State, did you catch yourself looking around a little bit?
Before I went out, yeah. Obviously, whenever the offense gets out first drive, it's loud and you look out, it's like, man, this is really here. Yeah, but once I stepped on the field, it was, I knew what I had to do.
Speaking about so much to think about, what goes through your mind when you see Trey go down? And I mean, it's obvious right away that it was, a serious injury. I mean, what, you're thinking about him, you're thinking about yourself, I guess. So what goes through your mind?
First thing I did was just say a prayer for him, get some of the guys together. Kirby, our FCA leader, he got us all together and prayed for him, said a couple prayers myself, and he's just next man up.
How quickly do you get in the mood that I got to step up now?
I think you have to stay in that mood because you never know what's going to happen all game, and you got to prepare every week like you are a starter, so that once you get in, you're ready.
Did you ever have any experience like that in your football life prior, where somebody goes down and then somebody else is casting a bigger role?
No, I haven't.
You talked to Trey any last
Yeah.
week since he got back?
Yeah, he came in the other morning, and we all went down. We were in a linebacker meeting, and we went down to talk to him, and he seemed in good spirits. It was nice to see him and see him smile down there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty unforgiving game, isn't it?
Definitely.
A dude like that, it goes down, and I mean, you have to kind of put it out of your mind, right? And say, well, this is what I got to do, move on, right?
Yeah, it's a physical game for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of it, physically, how different are you?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Physically, how different are you than when you got here in January, or when you signed even? Because it seems like a lot, right?
Yeah, so I'd been sick right before I enrolled here, probably like 2 weeks before, and I had the flu. I was pretty sick, so I lost a lot of weight. But my last season, senior year of high school, I played at 213. That morning that I came in to West Virginia, I weighed 205. So I put on 20 pounds that month. I'm weighing 225 right now.
And then your high school career, the number of tackles is kind of alarming, right? Okay, you're laughing. You've heard this before. Like, how do we qualify that? Because sometimes one guy makes all the plays, and sometimes it's not great football. But that was pretty high level in North Carolina, right? Was it product of the system? I mean, were you that good? Were things just falling? Because I imagine they try to stay away from you at some point too.
Yeah, well, the way our defense was set up in high school, really, they couldn't run away from me because I was in the middle of the field. We had 2 stack linebackers on either side of me, and everyone's job was basically to box and get everything back to the inside. So obviously, just if everything's funneling into me, I'm going to make a lot of plays in high school.
Why you're more comfortable in the middle as opposed to like the will or a strong side or something like that. The middle is just kind of where you're accustomed to.
Yeah, I like playing in the box for sure.
225 big enough for you in the middle, though? You're going to have to get a little bit bigger eventually.
I'll need to put on some weight. Right now, I'm strong enough and big enough to play in the middle.
What's the ideal then? What, 230, 235, you think?
I would say next year, just off the top of my head, a goal weight for me would probably be like 233 for my sophomore year. Yeah.
Okay.
Take me through your recruitment. So, who else was interested? You jumped in with the offer from West Virginia pretty quick. So, just walk me through what happened, your mind process, why you ended up here.
Yeah. So my recruitment started my sophomore year of high school. That's when I got my first offer from Appalachian State, and they were on me heavy the whole time. I would say my top 3 towards the end of my recruitment were App State, Louisville, and West Virginia. I only took one official. It was here, and I knew the second, I came on my official and got to really experience what it's like to play here. I wanted to come here.
So, the experience, is that what drew you here? Were there something else? Obviously, App State would have been closer for you.
It would have.
Yeah, so why did you decide to come here?
I think for me, choosing really the top 2 were App State and West Virginia for me. And choosing where I wanted to be, I would go to App State, and you look at their players, and they're just not as developed as some guys you see at the Power 5 level, especially here at West Virginia with our strength staff. That they do a great job. And I knew coming here I can definitely be the best player walking out that I can possibly be at any program.
I'm sure when you were in high school you lifted, but when you got here and got introduced to Mike Joseph and stuff, was that just a whole new world for you?
Was.
What was that
For
like?
sure. I was always in the weight room in high school, and really nothing compares to the amount of work we do here and how much progress you make in a short amount of time here too. It's a great strength staff we got set up, and they do a really good job.
So player development was very important to you.
Absolutely.
Was that maybe the deciding factor?
I would say, yeah, seeing myself, trying to picture myself 4 years from when I step into a program, for sure.
How much more are you involved in pass coverage now than you were in high school, and what's that transition?
Oh, yeah, that was probably the toughest part. I was downhill in high school, downhill linebacker, loved fitting the run, and we really didn't have too many coverage rules. Coming in here and learning all the different things you have to see, all the different adjustments you have, different types of coverage that we play is a huge adjustment for me, for sure. But coming in early, once again, helped me a lot with that and just adjusting to the game.